Oh my goodness, that's the nest.
So that happened. I was out in the woods taking photos of animals, and I realized I had wandered way too close to a bald eagle nest. It was amazing, so cool, and also way bigger of a deal than I realized. Today I want to tell you what happened and what I learned from the whole experience, because honestly, there's a lot here that I wish I had known going into this, and I think it would have made me a lot better prepared. Context. Something you guys may not know is that I am a wildlife photographer. I love being out in the forest, taking pictures of animals, especially birds, which is no surprise there. I mean, this channel is full of birds. Now enter the eagles. I see this particular family of eagles like all the time. I knew they lived around my neighborhood because I see them walking my dog, I hear them, I knew they were around. I've even photographed them roosting in a tree before, which was pretty cool, I will not lie. So when I saw them out today, it didn't feel unusual. I was already out by the water looking for wildlife to photograph. I'd seen a couple herons and some ducks doing duck things. But then I saw one of the eagles flying overhead, and although it was exciting, it wasn't unexpected yet. The eagle went to roost in a tree along the shoreline, so I decided to follow him and get just a little closer, and that is when I realized there were not one, but two eagles there.
There are two of them roosting in the tree, like right over there. I'm gonna take a picture so you guys can see it a lot better, but they flew that way and now they're chilling over there. So let's go investigate that way.
To get to this point, I did have to walk through the forest a little bit. A lot of the shoreline was pretty wet and marshy, and it was freezing, and I was not looking to get cold feet. Nobody wants that. So I took the high ground, and along the way, I spotted another one of the eagles flying. And to be honest, this should have been my first tip-off. I mean, seeing three of them flying around so close together is a little suspicious, but I didn't think much of it, because I'd seen the whole family roosting together in a tree that I could see from the sidewalk in my neighborhood, so it didn't make me suspicious like it probably should have. And then I got very suspicious very fast. Because I took a few more steps forward, looked down at the ground, and then I saw it. The whitewash, aka bird poop, literally everywhere. And then it clicked. I was underneath a bald eagle nest. I actually was able to find and see the nest pretty quickly after that, and I did take a video, but I'm actually not going to share that video today, and I'll get to why in just a second.
So I don't know how well you could see in those videos, but there was bird poop all over the ground there. And very quickly I figured out what that probably meant. So needless to say, I could see I was getting pretty close to the nest there. A little too close. I know eagles are super territorial, and I also don't want to infringe on their territory or their feelings of safety or anything like that. So I went ahead and got out of there really fast.
Now, I am honestly really thankful that I did have the right instinct here to leave the area and give the birds some space. Because as it would turn out, there's actually a lot that can happen when someone infringes on an eagle's nest. In fact, today could have ended up very differently. So I wanted to share with you all what I learned from this experience. I had no idea how close I was to the nest at first. And if I hadn't trusted that instinct to leave, I could have caused a lot more stress to those birds than I realized. And also potentially been arrested, and nobody wants that. Because once I got home, I did what someone always does after something weird happens to them in the woods. I Googled it, and then I Googled some more, and then it was 3 hours later, and I had like 12 tabs on my computer open about bald eagles. That's when I learned that nests of a bald eagle aren't just please don't touch this protected. In fact, they are federally protected. There are actual laws in place that say you can't disturb an eagle, its nest, or its chicks or eggs. And something I didn't know is that disturb doesn't just mean physically touching or harming the eagle. It also includes stressing them out enough to change their behavior. Because as it turns out, eagles are really sensitive to disturbances, especially during nesting season. Too much stress can make the parents leave, exposing chicks and eggs to the elements and predators. It can also lead to injury of the parents, negatively affect their feeding behavior, or even cause them to abandon the nest entirely. And on top of all that, there can be real legal consequences here. Disturbing a bald eagle nest isn't just unethical, it's actually illegal under federal law, like I said. And we're talking serious fines, even jail time. And now, no, this isn't gonna happen probably from just stumbling upon a bald eagle nest, but if you're going there constantly to take pictures, you're harassing the birds, or if you end up accidentally actually harming them, or if somebody harmed them on purpose, then you'd be talking some serious consequences. I had understood that we can't and shouldn't intentionally harm or trap the eagles, because why would you do that? But I didn't realize the potential for completely unintended consequences. So yeah, between the danger to the birds and the very real legal stakes here, I'm glad I decided to leave when I did. There's a whole family story going on up in that nest, and to put it simply, it's none of my business. To tell you the truth, now that I know where the nest is, I also know that I'll never be back to that area. I'm gonna take my wildlife photography further upshore so I don't disturb them. A huge thing with wildlife photography, or really any activity where you're out in nature, is not disturbing the animals or the ecosystem. You should be a passive observer to it all, and that's it. I didn't realize how fast I'm just watching can turn into I'm in the middle of something I shouldn't be, and I could actually cause some real harm here. Awareness and mindfulness is everything when you're out there, and I think we should educate ourselves on how to properly engage with the wild when we're out in it. And wouldn't you know, there's actually a guideline for this in regards to proximity to bald eagles. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recommend a buffer of at least 330 feet between you and a bald eagle nest. And for reference, that's about the length of a football field, which means you are way too close. I need you to back that up for me. Thank you very much. And this distance is also in terms of horizontal distance. So if you're standing at the base of a very tall tree, that doesn't count. This is also just the minimum buffer. Depending on the temperament of the eagles, or if they've got little ones in the nest, what's considered safe for you and them could extend to 500 or even 1,000 feet. The other note here is that eagles are highly territorial, and they'll circle and even dive bomb people who are too close. And if you think I'm bluffing, I actually made a whole video about a town where bald eagles and humans coexist, and things get a little crazy. At the end of the day, the bottom line is, if you're disturbing the birds, you're too close. And when I got close to the nest and saw that eagle flying around me, little did I know I had probably actually flushed him out and scared him into leaving. So yeah, eagles are like the kings of needing personal space. And I'm blurring out the nest footage that I took because once something like that is public, you do lose control of who sees it. And unfortunately, there are people out there who actively search for bald eagle nests. And I wouldn't want someone using this footage to try to track it down. And on top of that, showing how close I was, I think just kind of normalizes the behavior and makes it seem okay to be that close. I don't want to be a part of putting this eagle family or any eagles in danger. But let me tell you, the nest was pretty cool. If this story helps even one person give wildlife just a little bit more space, then this video is going to do exactly what I wanted it to do. So if you like this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you do want to hear that story of the town that is overtaken by bald eagles, go ahead and click that right here. I've got tons of other eagle videos on my channel if you want to check that out. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.